because I don't believe that Blake Lively's lawyers are this dumb.
She's the subpoena queen, trying to check my screen.
Hi, and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Sashti Flo, and I'm sure you know what I'm going to talk about here on my channel. First of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for supporting my new song, Subpoena Queen, that I made yesterday. Sometimes when I'm frustrated, I just tend to want to do creative things to get a little bit of the frustration out of my system. So I made that song with help from AI, and I'm so happy you enjoyed it. I thought it was quite catchy myself. So if you haven't listened to that, I'll leave a link in my description. Also, I wanted to make something clear because I know there's a lot of confusion out there to what actually is happening with these subpoenas. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that they're not going to look into my emails and they're not going to try to find out who sent me things or tips or whatever. They're only interested in my personal information that they can get through YouTube. That's why they subpoena Google, who owns YouTube. So basically, they want my IP address, my real address, my phone number, my full name, my bank details, my credit cards. Yeah, everything. Finally, though, we did get an answer from Blake Lively's lawyers, and they do admit that the reason why they're going after us, there's 16 of us, as I said before, there are some that have more followers, some that had as little as 300 followers that Blake Lively is subpoenaing. Anyways, so their office now has confirmed that they think that we're all being paid by Justin Baldoni, and that's why they're subpoenaing us. So they are looking at to see if we got like $2 from someone. You can give little super thanks. So I don't know if they're going to look into that. If I receive $2 from someone, that they're going to find that person and say, hey, are you also paid by Baldoni? Because here on YouTube, the only thing that is connected to my account is AdSense, who's paying YouTubers that are monetized for putting advertisements on their YouTube videos. YouTube takes 50% of that, and then 50% goes to the creator. Anyways, I don't believe for a second that that's actually what they're after here, because I don't believe that Blake Lively's lawyers are this dumb. They don't believe that we were paid by Baldoni, but they're serving Blake Lively, and they'll do anything her and Ryan Reynolds is telling them to do. It might be their idea, it might be Nick Shapiro's idea. Remember that CIA chief of staff guy that they hired? This might be right up his alley. I don't know. But what I do think is that the reason they're doing this is to scare us and to scare you guys. And by doing that, they're scaring everyone that's using Google. Because imagine this, if you were talking about someone in the public eye, they can go after you and ask for all your personal information, and you will have to give it to them otherwise, unless you hire an attorney and pay attorney's fees, which are like up to $600, $900 an hour. And of course, they want to avoid more people talking about them. They want us to stop talking about them, and they want especially small creators. That's why they picked some random small creators. There's no like, that doesn't make any sense who they picked for the subpoenas. Of course, it made sense they picked me because I posted a video where Blake Lively was acting like a bully. But all these other small creators, it makes absolutely no sense, especially the ones that aren't even monetized. They're not even making money. They can't make money on YouTube. I also think that what they want to do here is maybe after they got our bank account numbers, because they need that to subpoena the banks, they're going to go to the banks and then they're going to try and find out how much money we'd made from AdSense. And then they'll say, hey, they made money on smearing Blake Lively. So this is their whole PR spin here, if you like. And as I said before, you know, they've been after me this entire time. They smeared me in the New York Times article. They went after my Wikipedia page and started editing it, so I looked like I was not a trustworthy journalist. And they also smeared me in several other articles online. And now, as you know, they have subpoenaed my personal information. If that's not a smear campaign, I don't know what is. It's quite ironic, though, when you read what Leslie Sloan just filed. I think this was yesterday, because she's been asking to get her legal fees covered by Baldoni's team because thinks she was dragged into this being innocent. And she's saying in her opposing letter to that, she's saying that the Wayfair party's baseless claims were filed solely to inflame the public and censor Ms. Sloan, chill her protected First Amendment speech, and inflict significant emotional, reputational, and professional damage to her and her company. Their lawsuit is therefore a textbook example of strategic lawsuit against public participation. Isn't that exactly what they're doing to us? I mean, I couldn't explain it better. She wants to have protection for First Amendment speech. Well, we should not be getting it. How can they get away with these kind of arguments? I don't get it. I also learned that they are actually also subpoenaing the treasurer for Steve Sarowitz. He's the billionaire who's been banking this for Justin Baldoni. He's also the man behind the Wayfair Foundations, which, as I talked about a week ago or so, they closed down that foundation due to all the pressure of his, he wanted to protect his personal life, and he has been attacked, as you know, by an arsonist, so on. And now they are subpoenaing the treasurer for Sarowitz for the Wayfair Foundation. What's the reason for this? That they pretend that they think that they paid creators from that fund. I mean, it's so absurd, you guys. And the thing is, all the things that they're doing now in this desperation, because they have zero evidence, is trying to just intimidate people. And of course, a lot of people are intimidated by this, me included. It's not fun being dragged into something like this by billionaires who have so much money that can just bury you in legal fees. And it looks like the legal system is allowing this. Another question is, why is the media not covering this? Where's the media? Why aren't they covering this? Why aren't there any stories in TMZ, People Magazine, Daily Mail, everyone who's been covering everything so closely in this case? They're not covering this. And the thing is, this is not just a threat to us. This is a threat to everyone that's using Google. So why is the press not interested in covering something that really affects all of us? Anyways, also in the news today, Blake Lively got her will from the judge. Can you believe it? Someone sent me this photo yesterday. I thought it was funny. It's satirical, so it's not defamation, just to put that out there. It is Blake Lively and Judge Liman. And someone also pointed me to a Reddit post about the Epstein files. And they said, hey, look, there's Doug Liman in the Epstein files. I looked at that, and then you could see the email address to that Doug Liman, and he's working in hypnosis or hypnotherapy or something like that. So it's not the same Doug Liman, just to put that out there for people speculating. I don't think that's the judge. But anyways, he did actually allow Blake Lively to choose wherever she wants to do this deposition. She could do that. So Lively will make arrangements for the opposing counsel to have a dedicated computer and ability to print and copy documents in the space chosen by Lively. Does that mean that they can't have their own computer with them? I don't understand this. Anyways, of course she could choose where she wanted the deposition to be because she's a celebrity. She will just sit there and refuse to answer anything, and her lawyers will go, no, we are not answering that. No, we're not answering that. I mean, it's so obvious what this judge is doing. And in the meantime, while Blake Lively's privacy and security is being really well protected, all of us are out here, small little creators who barely can pay their bills, and they're asking for our personal information and bank details. I wonder what answer I would get if I asked Blake Lively about the same information about her. Well, actually, I know what answer I will get, because she just said that Wayfair Parties does not have the right to look at her finances. They've been asking her to show them her loss because she's claiming that she lost so much, income and potential work from this. And they're asking, okay, what's the amount here? Can you give us something? And of course, Blake Lively won't do that. Her lawyers are saying that her damages are too complex, so they can't really say how much money she's lost. And of course, she's claiming that the losses from Blake Brown and Betty Buzz and Betty Booze is because of Justin Baldoni. And of course, the smear campaign that she's still claiming that we are part of, it's our fault. That's why her and her billionaire husband should get money, should get compensation for that. As you know, her product started plunging, her sales started plunging after she had filed the lawsuit. I don't think Blake Brown was doing bad. They did actually start off going really well. But then when she filed the lawsuit, all of a sudden, everything went south. And how can she blame that on Baldoni? She was telling the world that she was a victim. her sales should have gone up through the roof for people who wanted to support her. I just wonder what their lawyers are thinking at this point. It must be very frustrating having to defend someone or having a plaintiff that is actually just lying all the time. She's just lying and lying and lying. And I know this firsthand because they have lied about me. And right now, they've lied to all of us. They denied that they actually subpoenaed Google. As I showed in a previous episode, when Andy from Popcorn Planet called them, they denied it. They said it's probably a scam. So the only thing that Blake Lively is willing to share is her losses from Betty Buzz and Betty Booze and of course, her hair care line, Blake Brown. The problem is that she's been pushing online so much that she's so successful. And she also got that achievement from Time 100 that she's one of the most influential people in the world. And she's a titan. And the CEO of Time 100 said that she had a great year. That's going to look really bad when she's on a stand in the trial in front of a jury to defend that and say that, well, my year was terrible. And that's why I won that award. And that's why my movie was #1 on Amazon that I bragged about. And I was so tortured by all of this. So I went to every red carpet opportunity that I had and I posted on Instagram several times a day. Her big ego is like her biggest enemy. And what they're doing right now to content creators is just making them look so bad. And I see my subscriber amount has gone up, my colleague subscribers amount have gone up. So all they're doing is making more people listen to us. Well, I have to say something to the group of people that still believes Blake Lively, because after I posted my last post on Instagram where I spoke about the subpoena, I got some really hardcore Blake Lively fans trying to debate on my post. And what I found so interesting about these people that are pro Blake Lively is that all of them are just attacking the messengers here. They're calling, and I've seen on other content creators, they're calling us bullies, mean, misogynist. They're calling out people for the way they look, for their accents, mine included. They're calling us bad human beings because we analyze facts and because we believe in the truth. And I'm just like curious about the psychology behind this because these people never met Blake Lively. They watched her in a movie or they watched her on Gossip Girl and they really liked her in that film. They follow her on Instagram. They click like on all her curated posts on Instagram and they feel like they know her. Maybe because they really want to be her and they look up to her because she's beautiful. But the sad truth here is that if these same people showed up and got too close to Blake Lively at a red carpet or a premiere event, she would just like snap her fingers and get her security to remove them. I've been asking some of these people, like, let's get to the facts here. Let's just stop the name calling, which is also a sign that you don't have anything to say when you're starting to call people bad names. Especially with me, they're like, you're not a journalist, you just talk gossip. But I think the big question here is that no one can answer. And I've been asking this seriously out of sincerity and out of curiosity. Why do you support Blake Lively? Where is the evidence that convinced you that she's telling the truth? I also saw that some of these people said I deserved to get all my personal data investigated because I reported on this too much. That sentence to me is also like, do you see can you find the logic in that? So you don't believe in the First Amendment, then you don't believe in free speech, you don't believe in free press. Funny thing is, if this was twisted and there was a man who had subpoenaed all these female creators, would you stand up for that guy? Or is it just because Blake Lively is a woman and by default you have to protect her because you feel that that is your mission in life? Someone even said in my comment section, I really liked her shampoo. It was great. So even if you bought her products, if you bought her entire image, shouldn't you have a look at yourself and see where is the line here between fiction and reality? Why am I so obsessed with defending this person? I don't know. And also ask yourself, why do you think that you have the truth? And why do you think it's okay that people just like you are being dragged through the mud, being tried to silence, and really threatened by financial bankruptcy, which could potentially be the outcome for some of these creators? Why would you think that's okay? These are people who have analyzed legal filings. We have looked at her lawyer's words. We have watched some of her old interviews. We have looked at some of the things she said in the past, and we've analyzed it. We've taken the facts from Justin Baldoni, we looked at it, and we analyzed it, and we made our decision based on that. So, what did you make your decision based on? And wishing ill upon others because they don't agree with you, that actually just makes you a troll. And that's really, really sad. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm sure there's going to be some news soon. Blake Lively, as you know, is going to be deposed on Thursday if she doesn't come up with a sore throat or a cold sore or something like that. And tonight or today in the US, there is a hearing about pushing deposition times. Let's see if they can get that through. I'm sure they will, because the judge is like just allowing Blake Lively to do whatever she wants. Maybe he also really liked her in Gossip Girl and thought she's really pretty, and that's why he's giving her the benefit of the doubt the entire time here. Anyways, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
I won't go. She's the subpoena queen, trying to check my screen. Wants my IP, my bank, my search routine.